Alrighty, guys, I'll say that again. Again, join me for a live lesson. The more the merrier, the more I get to know you, the more likely I am to assist you more. Not that I don't assist everybody, but not everybody messages me, not everybody emails me like, oh, you're the one from the live lesson. I love to get to know my students. I really do. I so far know a handful of you. I could make out, ooh, shout outs, shout outs, shout outs, shout outs, shout outs. Andres, Caleb, Laura, Michaels, two Michaels, Selena, Sophia. So shout outs to you guys for joining lessons, live lessons. Uh, Especially shout out to Caleb and basketball talk. Talk to you later, Caleb. Usually there anyways, man. All right, let's move on, guys. We are on lesson 11, the Vedic Civilization, Vedic. We are in ancient India. So let's jump right into that. I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit shorter to give you guys some more time to read. Reading is important. When we're talking about ancient India, based on this image that we see here, Indian geography is not that difficult. Here's the India subcontinent, protected by the Himalayan mountains. Most major civilizations arose over here. All right. What do you mean, sir? Well, here, you know how last lesson spoke about Harappa, Mehra, Merak, Mohenjo-Daro, all along the Indus River. Used mud bricks. They're still around today, which is why we know so much about them. They wrote a little bit, but not that much. They did travel. The way they worked their society, like most societies, there's this pyramid system. The leaders on top, in this case, we had the priests, the Brahmins. Then we had the kings and the rulers and the warriors under that. We had our merchants, craftsmen, and skilled workers. Then we had our farm workers, unskilled laborers, and then we had the untouchables. Later on in world history, we'll read about Mohandas Gandhi, this untouchable, who freed India from British rule by not eating. Back to the lesson. No, I take it back. Yes, back to the lesson. First vocabulary term we have is oral traditions. This is the preservation of history and culture by way of speech. So I'm telling you stories, and then you learn them, and then you pass on stories just by speech. This is oral traditions. Written tradition is history, which some people did not have. The Vedic civilization had a similar culture to the Indus civilizations. It developed in the plains not long after the disappearance of the Indus. Many kingdoms and empires rose throughout the Vedic period. The term Vedic comes from the name of the ancient religious text of India. Let's start highlighting some stuff. The term Vedic ancient religious text, most of our knowledge of the Vedic civilization comes to us from their Vedas. No, there are no formal historical records, 1500 to 600 BC, right? Year zero before that. Vedas are derived from oral traditions, what has been said, means people pass down stories, popular use of written language, before written language. The Vedas were revealed to holy persons or seers who taught the sacred knowledge to their disciples. Right? I tell you, the term Vedas comes from the word vid, which means knowledge. I'm going to keep this one short, guys. Religion. Religion was sacrificial religion. It depends on priests who helped the people perform sacrifices. Worship also included the singing of mantras of the Rig Vedic. Sacrifices and prayers were often for protection. Many rituals called for offerings to be made on the altars and burned with fire. Kind of scary, sacrificial religions. But this can be anything, not so much, no, yes, a living thing, but animals, plants, right? Insects. It just depends. The evolution of Vedic gods is difficult to trace. Later Vedic scholars initiate the creator as Brahma. The oldest portions of the Vedas are reference to one supreme creator god. For example, hymns of the Rigvedic 10. Right? Again, difficult. So the Vedas, ancient religious texts from India, we believe were completed around 1500. The text came out around 1200. We got more text around 1100, and I'm just reading the top parts. You all can actually read the goodies. 1500, 1200, 11 to 600. And then the Brahman's prose text around 800 BC, and then the Sutra language around 500 BC. What does this mean? This is way the Egyptians are already doing their thing. By the time we reach this time period, we already have the ancient Greeks, and down here, the Romans will be soon rising to power. Okay. Whoa, there's a big gap here. Let's refresh this, guys. Apologies. Let's see why the gap. Loading, loading, loading. Again, India, Vedic Civilization, text. Here it is. Literary periods of ancient India. Click here to start. You're more than welcome. Society was very spiritually minded. Let me just, this is what I just mentioned earlier. The priests were on top, and then the rulers, and then merchants, and then laborers. Varna has two meanings. Primarily, it's color. Colors were identified with certain qualities. For example, red associated with ancient Vedic culture. Therefore, the color of the ruler, white associated with purity, or the priest, yellow, trade and commerce, and black was Shudras or servants. Color-coded forms of society, right? Families, let's see, similar to us. The basic society of the family, the basic unit was the familia, included much just in the father, mother, and children. It's what we call extended family members. Great-grandparents, grandparents, daughter-in-laws were considered part of the one family unit. The oldest living male was the head of the family. Married sons did not leave their parents' home until they established their own family, but continued to live with their parents under the authority of the oldest male. Okay, okay, okay. Government. You can read the second paragraph on your own. During the early part, government was organized similar to a tribe. The basic units were families. Families lived in close proximity. They're considered a village or a grama. The leader of the grama was the gramani. A group of villages known as a clan. A vis was led by a vispati. A Gana tribe was made up of several visis. The Gana was ruled by a rajan or chief. The rajan was probably elected by a council of elders. Interesante. Evidence by the Varna system, Vedic economy included many occupations. Though many people lived on farms, there were existed large urban centers, also trade routes. Interesting. Some items to answer. I believe you have 14. Let's see. I take it back. Maybe not. Hey, 13. I was off by one. Right. Text. What was written in the reign of Gurus. Religious intent. The warrior class. Powerful kings. Ancient texts, things that we went over. Best of luck. You need me, you know where to find me. Live lessons, Mondays and Wednesdays, 1 to 1:30, or some office hours as well for some one-on-one. Nobody knows. It's just me. Be good. Be well. There goes my sharing. Let me end this recording. We didn't send